Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Bridging Impact Podcast, the podcast that is passing wisdom to the next generation of athletes, coaches, and parents to transform leaders on and off the court. And I'm your host, Coach Furtado. So here on our Friday episodes, I share just what I'm learning, what I'm seeing with athletes, what I'm talking to parents about, what I'm talking to other coaches about. And today is a great topic specifically for your athletes in terms of their training and their training plan. So if that's something you're interested in, this will be a great episode for you. And one of the things that sparked this idea is that while I was running camp outside, for the better or worse, I'm outside at a local public park, but that means I get to see what other people do when they train. And I've got the opportunity to watch other coaches, watch other athletes train, but I'm specifically going to be targeting how athletes train by themselves with this episode. So there's something that I see a lot is just players going to a park and they think they're training, they think they're working hard. They'll spend, 6 hours at a park. They'll be there all day. And to be honest, they're not getting any better. They're just wasting time. And so why is that, right? Number one, there's no intentional training. And I'm going to break down 4 principles for you in this episode that will help you rise up your game, whether you are a parent helping your athlete or a coach helping your athlete, or maybe you're an athlete listening to this. So number one, we need to know what we're getting better at. So I have a principle called the 100, 50, and 25 rule. So we have to set obviously an end deadline. We can't have it be going on forever. Summer is a great time. I just worked with my athletes on doing this for the month of July. So at the end of July or at the end of the summer, what do you want to be 100% better at? Okay, what do you want to be 50% better at? And what do you want to be 25% better at? So the issue is a majority of players just show up and they do random things and they get a little bit better at everything, which in reality really doesn't translate into the game. So you have to make sure that you have a structure. So let's say that I want to become a better 3-point shooter. So if I want to become a better 3-point shooter, and that's my 100% goal, I need to be doing that every day that I'm training. So I recommend training 6 days a week. So therefore, if I really want to be a better 3-point shooter, I need to be shooting 6 times a week. Now, it doesn't have to be the focus of every single workout, but I need to be getting up, at least, a minimum of 10 threes at the bare minimum. And on your training days where you're really trying to get better at threes, probably up to 100 to 250 quality reps. Actually, quality over quantity. And that's the other thing that I see so many athletes getting in the gym or they're doing stuff. They just want to shoot. They're shooting around. I'm like, you're not going to get better if you don't rep things out, if you don't put pressure on yourself. You got to have a plan, right? And then the 50 and the 25, it kind of comes in, right? Making sure that you are focused. You should be doing all 3 of those things every single week. And you should make sure that whatever you said you want to get 100% better at, that's what you're going to be doing a majority of the time. Then 50% better at, the second most amount of time, and 25% better, obviously third most out of the time. So, right. Number 2 is just a roadmap, a plan of how you're going to attack the week. You need to make your plan either on Sunday or Monday for your entire week. When are you going to lift? All right. When are you going to do conditioning? When are you going to get your shots up? When are you going to work on, whatever that 50%? Maybe it's, rip through and finishing package. When are you going to work on your defense? When are you going to study film? Whatever it is, you have to have a roadmap and you need to be able to stick to it, right? That's going to be really important, right? A roadmap, plan, whatever you want to say, it's going to help guide you along during the week. Because if you're like, oh, it's Thursday, maybe I'll do my 50 today. That's not good enough. Great leaders, they plan their day out. Great leaders, they plan their week out. Great leaders, they plan their month out. They know what they need to get better at, and they continue to evolve. And I'll get to the 4th point that's really instrumental to how you want to, kind of navigate your roadmap, maybe make some adjustments, because that's always what great leaders do as well. And number 3 are points of precision. So points of precision are really important, especially, and this is, especially a really good one for the coaches that are listening, but also maybe even for the parents that are listening as well. And so it's being really precise at what you're going to get better at each day. So if I want to become a better 3-point shooter, there's quite a bit of, different nuances that come into it, right? One day I can focus on footwork. One day I can focus on, catch and release and catching and releasing quick. One day I can work on shooting and moving. One day I can kind of just be a little more stationary and just kind of work on muscle memory. So points of precision, right? If I'm a player that struggles with arc on my shot, then I need to make sure I get my elbow above my eye. And so having those points of precision, that way you're like, can evaluate at the end of the day, how well did I meet my point of precision? Did I get better at footwork, right? Did I get better at, keeping my elbow above my eye? So points of precision are going to be really important. And lastly, I already mentioned it, but evaluation. We can't, make a plan and know exactly what, make a plan in June and then know exactly what early August is going to bring, right? There may be some opportunities at a high school that you may be playing for, some new positions open, and maybe you want to make some adjustments. Are you getting a lot better at your 50%? And you see it translating in games that's more helpful than your 100%. It's always good to evaluate and reflect on how the process is going, because we don't always want to be sticking to the same things and doing the same things over and over again. Evaluation is a great, important process to becoming a better leader. And so kind of my final thoughts about all of this is just, I had a conversation with an athlete today and it went really well. It was awesome. He brought it up. He's like, Coach, I think I've gotten to be a better shooter. I'm like, yeah, definitely, man. And so he's like, and it was unprompted. Like I didn't ask him anything. And one of the things that he kind of had mentioned is he's like, I thought like I would be like 10% better, like overnight. Right. But for him, he started noticing that like 1% better, like each day kind of mindset. And so with the 150-25, right, keeping in mind, we're not going to become 150 and 25% better overnight. I don't think you can genuinely see great results until you've been putting in, intentional weekly practice for 3 months. Like that is just the truth. A lot of people want results sooner, but that's just not how it works. You have to put the time in. You have to try and get 1% better each day. And if you can get a couple more percent better each day, that's even better. So just stay the course. Being patient is so important. And so if you got something out of this episode, please share it with a friend. Maybe you got some athletes that you think would, could follow this 4-step framework. So we have, as a review, we have our first principle was the 150-25. Our second principle was a roadmap. Our third principle, points of precision, and the last principle, evaluation. This is going to give you a great framework for how to build a program for yourself, because yes, you can go and buy expensive programs that are done for you, and I actually do recommend those, but that's not always an option. And maybe you want to start creating that leadership for yourself to, hey, take your results to the next level. So thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I drop great episodes with amazing leaders every Wednesday, and I share my thoughts every Friday on Coach's Corner. Coach Furtado out.